Hey y'all, it is True Confession Wednesday today. You're not going to believe this was almost the very last video I was going to make. It really was. Honest to John, I am not kidding. I got on the scale today and I was up 0.8 pounds. No surprise. So here's the story and here's how I almost threw in the towel altogether. Here we go. Yesterday, I was trying to scan a contract to send back to a hotel for one of my scrapbooking retreats. I do 4 of those a year, negotiate all the contracts, and then I have to sign them all and send them back. And I have a new Wi-Fi printer scanner fax machine. I think. I don't know if there's a fax in it. Anyway, it scans and it prints. But not well. I do not recommend one of these for you. So I had an old HP printer scanner that I have had for 20 plus years. Still works. Just amazing. It's been starting to get quirky. And I tried different reset things, and then I'm always running downstairs, gotta do other stuff. My office is upstairs. I'm downstairs to print because it's hooked up to something else. I debated bringing it upstairs. There's just no room to add this thing up here. So I decided, you know what would be really nice for our family? Oh, and it's not compatible with Apple. I mean, I don't know why. But it simply will not. My daughter, when she had her Apple, she couldn't get it to work. My other daughter couldn't get it to work. I eventually had her send me things, and then I submitted it. I just thought that they were not able to figure out how to get the drivers on their computers, and I just gave up on it. But and the driver says it's on. Because I now have an Apple computer myself, the driver's loaded on there. It says that it accepted it. It's not like, well, this is an Apple computer, it's not compatible, but yet it will not read it. There's no connection there, and you can't even do it hardwire. So I got a new computer because I figured, well, obviously a new one is going to work with Apple, and it does. Some days it works. Some days it doesn't. It constantly is going offline. And so then I have to go back down and I have to turn it off and turn it back on. And I can't figure out what's going wrong. I really can't. I all of a sudden had an idea of what it was, but then I answered my own. Realized that's not the problem. That's the pause. All right. So anyway, that was way more information than you needed to know. But the point is, I was downstairs trying to get the scanner to work so I could scan this document that's way past due that I have to send back to this hotel with my signature on all these pages, and was not working. I spent 2 hours trying to get this thing to work. Eventually came down and had to hardwire my other laptop. I eventually went to a different laptop thinking, well, maybe it's my Apple that's the problem. That one didn't work. Then I had to install it. And then I don't think I installed everything. I mean, I am even going to explain it all to you. Mind you, it was a total of a 4.5 hour process before I scanned the documents. 4.5 hours. I have the patience of Job, I tell you. So because the level of frustration was incredibly high, and because there were infinite amounts of times where I had to just sit while it kept saying loading, 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 loading when it was trying to send it to a laptop, or it was trying to do the scanning because I just rebooted it again, so everything was going slow again. So much of that time, I kept walking away from it and found myself in the kitchen, cleaning up the kitchen, straightening things up, and my level of anxiety and trying to calm myself down, I would go and take a little handful of peanuts. I did it multiple times. So, no surprise, right? No surprise. It gets worse. Oh, it gets so much worse. I then, at one point, had 3, very thin, nevertheless, because they were sliced than in a package. They were even hard to peel apart because they were so thin. Nevertheless, I'm trying to justify, can you tell? Slices of Colby Jack cheese, like sandwich size Colby Jack cheese. 3 of them. You know, equaling maybe 5 cubes of cheese if you put it all together. If you had like a tiny little cube. Not at all on the protocol. Not even close. Well, I mean, it's close. It doesn't have sugar and it doesn't have carbs, but it has a lot of fat. Cheese has a lot of fat in it. Maybe even worse than my peanuts. I don't know. It's probably a draw. Neither one are great. They're both very high in fat content. I guess you could say the peanuts are better because they're a healthier choice than the cheese. There's probably a little more fiber in there and just a healthier fat. But nevertheless, handfuls of peanuts, 3 slices of cheese, and then at one point, I went back and I made 3 turkey sausage links. 3 links are 100 calories a piece. I wonder how many calories I had that day. It's just so bad. So I had 3 turkey sausage links because I thought, oh, I can't be eating these peanuts. I'm going to go get another protein snack, which I remember seeing in the freezer downstairs. I pulled out this box of turkey sausage links from Jimmy Dean and got them out of the box and stuck them in the freezer and took 1 package out and kept 1 out on the island to kind of defrost before I put it in the refrigerator. Sometimes, especially in the winter, it just really takes a long time for things to defrost in the refrigerator. So I tried to get it to the point that it was just like slightly frozen before I put it in the refrigerator, not rock solid. And before putting it in there, I decided to take 3 of them out because 3 of them are considered a serving. Warmed them up and ate those. And then, yes, I had my bacon salad on top of that. So it was not a good day. Now, a bowel movement happened, so I thought, this will all balance itself out. Not really. So in my brain, I'm thinking, it's probably going to be a wash. I'm not going to gain or lose. A gain of 0.8 kind of threw me in a tailspin where I literally had about 30 minutes this morning where I decided I'm throwing in the towel. Because as I'm doing this yesterday and knowing these were poor choices, making the intentional choice to do this, I thought, I think I've reached a breaking point where I can't do this diet anymore. I know I'm not supposed to be eating this, and yet I'm choosing to do it anyway. And then the other side of my brain justified it and said, listen, you didn't throw any sugar in your mouth. You didn't have candy and cake or frosting or cookies or anything like that. You didn't have carbs. You didn't eat pieces of bread and crackers or all that. You had simply protein. You're fine. It's like good cop, bad cop. Angel and devil sitting there chatting to me the whole time. So this morning I just thought, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. I think I've reached a point for some reason that I'm not in the mental headspace. I didn't prepare myself adequately enough. I don't know. But, the last 5 days, essentially nothing's been happening other than up, down, up, down, up, down, and now up, high, 0.8 pounds. And then I just kind of kept reflecting on it as I was getting ready to teach my first class this morning. And I decided, it's that old philosophy, either piss on the pot or get off. And I thought, I really truly have 2 choices here. One is to throw in the towel and try some other diet and be unsuccessful. And this is what I knew, because I'm like, I'll try something else. I'll do something else. And then I kept telling myself, right, and how successful are you going to be on that, Jenny? Really? How successful are you going to be? Who are we kidding? Option 2 is to not allow any of this to happen anymore. To be strict. I've got 2 weeks left on this diet. 2 weeks. That's it. And I decided I'm going to be strict. I'm excited and nervous at the same time because I'm very good at cheating on these diets. Healthy cheats. Appropriate cheats. Yeah, appropriate cheats. But Smart cheating? Still cheating. Any way around it, it's still considered cheating. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So I got up this morning. Right before I started teaching my class, I went downstairs and I was talking to my husband. And I gave him the can of peanuts because it's this big. Yeah, it's this big. Why do I keep eating peanuts? How much are in there? I mean, this can is huge. Costco. And I said, hide these. I just don't need the temptation anymore. Hide them. Get them out of here. And I told him, worst case scenario. And I told him, finish up the cheese. Like the shredded cheese and that doesn't tempt me. It's just that those cheese slices. Oh. I mean, and I did good this whole diet. I haven't had one in the last 16 days, 15 days, but they're still there from before 15 days ago. Cheese be sitting in there. So I told him, draw it to my son's attention that it's in there. He loves Colby Jack cheese. That should probably be gone today then, once it's like brought to his attention. The rest of it is sharp cheddar cheese, and my husband really likes that. And I'm not as much of a sharp enjoying sharp cheese unless it's like melted on something. So eating those slices aren't as tempting to me, but I told him to go ahead and eat those up himself. And I told him to finish up all the bacon. Now I'm going to see if it's still in there, how much he took today, because actually I don't think I have enough bacon for the casserole, and I still haven't made the casserole because yesterday I intended to go do all that shopping and run a whole bunch of errands, and the whole printer thing threw me astray as I was downstairs. I mean, I did a lot of organizing and cleaning up of that level of the house, so there's the upside. I also ate way too much. And I watched The Bachelor. It was mindless television. I mean, kind of. Actually starts to rope you in, believe it or not. And then I heard that they're actually doing a visit in Cleveland in a couple episodes. I think the next one that's coming up, not that I'm caught up on all the episodes, but it's in my DVR. I kind of like reality television, so don't judge me. I listen to sports talk, reality television, and documentaries. And I just started getting into series television. Not comedies, but like series, drama series, sometimes some fantasy series. It was Game of Thrones that did it. Game of Thrones kind of got me into enjoying fantasy. I never in a million years would have thought I would enjoy watching any kind of fantasy. But I did with Game of Thrones, and now Carnival Row, and what is the other one I just finished watching on Amazon? It was only one season. It was pretty good. It was kind of very much like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It was much more innocent than like Game of Thrones and Carnival Row, which was nice. It wasn't as salacious, but it was a good, cute story. I'm looking forward to season 2. Kept enough suspense that was interesting. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's parts about that I didn't like anyway, but still, boy, do I digress today. So I was watching The Bachelor. I spent 4.5 hours with that. In the meantime, plugged in the old printer and hooked that up to my other computer, of which it wasn't logged on to the other computer. I had to download all that software and drive to get that computer to work. I just can't even. I think I'm just going to move the old computer back up here and have it plugged in at all times and just use that because it's just going to be easier. I thought the Wi-Fi one would be better. I might end up like giving it to my daughter when she goes to college or something like that. When she goes to vet school, if they don't have access to a printer, and she'll probably need one. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay. Wow, this is all over the place. I apologize. I don't have a topic. Sorry, I don't have a topic because I was just prepared to come and tell you I'm sorry and that I need to get back into the mental headspace that I need to. But here's my mental headspace. I told my husband, cod and vegetables. I'm not even going to do salads because I throw that salad dressing on there and that has fats in it. I'm going to try to be really good. And worst case scenario, if I need to have a protein snack, I will have the turkey sausage links. Not 3 of them. 2 at the most. I'll try to only have 1. It's kind of hard to eat just 1. But based on the amount of calories that I'll be taking in, I think that I could probably justify 3 of them, but I'll try to have 2 if I need to have a snack, because the fat content is lower, the protein content is high, and it doesn't have as much fat. Did I say fat? I think I said fat. Fat content's lower. The calories are a lot lower, probably because the fat content's lower. Yeah, so that's the plan going forward. So I'm going to stay on the hCG diet. Today was day 15. And I hope that in the next week or 2, I'm going to see some serious progress. And I hope that yesterday's fat binging is not going to show up on the scale tomorrow. Because, sometimes when you eat something, it takes a while for your body to kind of like demonstrate it on the scale for it all to kind of work through. Same thing with like exercise and that. I did skip a day 2 days ago on the treadmill, but yesterday I was on the treadmill for longer than the hour, actually. It was like 69 minutes or something like that before my daughter actually called me. I would have stayed on even a little bit longer, but my daughter called to FaceTime, and so that was sort of my sign of getting off and spending time visiting with her. Because any moment your child in college has to visit with you and talk to you on FaceTime to share something, that's great. And she had good news to share. She is a resident director in her dorm for next year, so I'm very proud of her. She was a resident advisor this year in her second year there. Now, she's graduating in 3 years, so she's kind of on the accelerated plan. But it was only her second year at the university, and she became a resident advisor and RA on one of the floors of a dorm. And next year, she is an RD, which means she gets a little mini apartment for free inside the dorm, and she's responsible for the whole dorm. So she's really not in charge of the residents as much as she's in charge of the RAs that are in there, which is just hysterical because my daughter is pushing 5 feet tall, barely 5 feet tall, and a tiny little thing. So I always tell her, I'm like, you still look like you're 16 years old. She always looks very young. She had very, very long curly hair, and over Christmas break, she donated 8 inches of it to Wigs for Kids. And the cancer nonprofit that makes wigs for children, I believe for both cancer and alopecia. With her shorter hair now, she actually looks a little bit older. So it was a good choice. Now that she'll be the RD, it'll be very funny if she ends up in a freshman dorm as parents move in. They're probably going to think that she's one of the residents, one of the freshman residents, because they're really only 2 years younger than her, and she's the RD. So I just think I'm just so tickled pink and proud of her in her last year there that she is going to have this opportunity. All right, that's more information than you needed. I'm always just full of more information. All right, that's all. I'm getting off, and tomorrow I'm getting on the scale, and it's going to be a loss. See you tomorrow. Bye.